Following his Pyrrhic victory at the Battle of Guilford Courthouse on March 15, 1781, Lieutenant General Charles Lord Cornwallis marched his British army toward the North Carolina coast to rest and refit and prepare for the next campaign. Cornwallis decided to invade Virginia and try to cut off supplies moving southward to Major General Nathaniel Greene's army operating in the Carolinas. In early August, Cornwallis, under orders from the British Commander-in-Chief Sir Henry Clinton, established a deep-water port at Yorktown, Virginia, situated along the York River some 14 miles from the old colonial capital at Williamsburg. Lafayette kept in close contact with Commander-in-Chief General George Washington in New York. Washington hoped to attack New York City with a combined force of his Continental Army and a French army under the Comte de Rochambeau. A key element of Washington's plan was the utilization of a French fleet under the Comte de Grasse, then in the Caribbean. However, de Grasse did not want to sail to New York and instead informed Rochambeau and Washington that he would operate off the Virginia coast. Washington immediately pivoted and decided to march south and cooperate with de Grasse against Cornwallis's army. De Grasse arrived off the Virginia coast in late August. On September 5th, in what is known as the Battle of the Capes, he engaged the British fleet sent to reinforce Cornwallis under Thomas Graves, thus sealing Cornwallis off from any hope of resupply or reinforcement from the coast. Beginning in the middle of August, Washington and Rochambeau began their march southward to confront Cornwallis. Initial preparations for a siege began soon after their arrival. On the night of October the 6th, the Allies began digging what was known as the first parallel. George Washington himself picked up a shovel and assisted his men with the construction of the earthworks. By the late afternoon of October the 9th, the Allied guns were in position and ready to begin their bombardment of Cornwallis's defenses. Around 5 p.m., Washington himself ceremoniously fired the first American gun from the Grand American Battery. Over the next 2 days, the French and American artillery pounded Cornwallis's defenses at Yorktown. By October 11th, the Allies decided to establish a second parallel, this one only 400 yards from Cornwallis's defenses. Standing in the way of the completion of this parallel were two fortifications, redoubts 9 and 10. On the afternoon of October 14th, the Allied High Command met and began making preparations to assault the two redoubts. The attack would take place that night under the cover of darkness. Shortly after 7 p.m., the attack got underway. Elements of two French regiments successfully attacked and captured Redoubt 9. While the French secured Redoubt 9, an up-and-coming American officer named Alexander Hamilton led American infantry against Redoubt 10, where I am standing today. Among Hamilton's force was a contingent from the Rhode Island Regiment, a unit that consisted of both black and white soldiers. Yorktown would be the last time that the United States Army fought with integrated units until the Korean War in the 1950s. With the redoubts captured, the Allies completed their second parallel and were now able to bombard Cornwallis at point-blank range. With few options left, Cornwallis sent a flag of truce through the lines on the morning of October 17th. Purportedly sick, Cornwallis appointed his second-in-command, Brigadier General Charles O'Hara, to formally surrender his sword to the Allies. As O'Hara marched out of the British defenses to surrender, he approached the Comte de Rochambeau rather than Washington. Rochambeau directed him across the road to Washington, who in turn directed O'Hara to his second-in-command, Major General Benjamin Lincoln. Washington refused to accept the surrender of Cornwallis's second-in-command, returning the slight of disrespect to the British. Word of Yorktown's surrender spread through London like a shockwave. In December of 1781, Parliament decided to suspend all further offensive operations in North America. 23 months after the siege of Yorktown, the Treaty of Paris was signed in September 1783, granting the United States its independence.